now. So I will be sharing my screen. Bear with me. So do let me know if you could not see my screen. So so this is the for the COVID-19 live occupancy control system. I'll go through briefly about the FootfallCam, but any one of you, if you're new and you want to find out more specifically of our usual people counting system, please let us know. Yeah. So something about FootfallCam. So we have been here from 2002. We are a British company here in the UK. We are a leading people counting system manufacturer. So we manufacture our hardware and we also fully developed our platform, our software platform. So everything is developed 100% in-house. So that's why we are able to do any customization. We do a lot of customization on the software for the end customers because usually your customers, our end users, they are big corporate company or a global retail chains, so they have very specific business needs. So we do all those customization, and because we build everything 100% in-house, we are able to very quickly make any changes on that. And we do put 24% of our revenue and actually more into our research and development. So many of you have been with us for many years. You probably have seen all the development, all the other functions that we have put in, and we do have a very extensive development roadmap. So combined, we have more than 100 years of industry experience in this. We serve multiple sectors for retail, fast food, restaurants, museums, smart buildings, airports, and for government buildings as well. So prior to COVID-19 situation, we actually have a lot of demand from end customers actually, and also from our partners. We have many partners that have come to us to talk about this requirement because at that time many governments have already even before the COVID, we have already done a lot of occupancy counting for offices, for facility management. I will talk more about that later. So there where hence our development of this live occupancy system is very fast. So the topic of our webinar is to talk about the businesses that are reopening after the lockdown. What would they need to do, and hence what will they be requesting from you, and what we can provide them for that, and what the FootfallCam safe occupancy is about, how does it work, and the key features and benefits. And at the end, I'll probably talk a little bit more that are unique to this solution, the market segments, and the unique way of marketing and sales support that we'll provide from FootfallCam. And obviously, we talk about some case studies. So why end user would need safe occupancy system? Some are still continuing their business, like supermarkets, DIY stores, and those that are providing public services like banks, so those essential service, and also government buildings. And some offices that they still need to keep open. So those are being, they have to comply with the government guidelines. Many government have the social distancing guideline and occupancy restriction. So they have to put measures in place. They already have to put measures in place. That is to protect their employees and to also reassure the visitors. Now, automated system, it will be more cost effective. And there's also long-term benefits to our solution. I'll talk more about that. So coming back to this, having to comply with social distancing. So many, as we say, many have already keep opening, and many business now, as we talk about this week, where especially in the UK, we have announced that we will starting to lift the lockdown, not completely, but starting to live in 1st of June. And many other countries are also talking about that. And so many businesses now are is really a hot topic for them is like, what measures can they put in place? A lot of time they need advice. They are not aware what product is out there. Then they have to find a way before they reopen. Obviously, they're very eager to reopen. They have already lost millions and millions of dollars throughout the days that they are closed. So initially, those that have opened supermarkets, they have mostly resort to assigning security guards at the door, or maybe redeploy their staff to one of them being at the door just to man the entrance. Now, those are manual counting. It is very costly because it's a person having to be there. It is inaccurate, and it also provides no evidence for compliance. Whereas with the FootfallCam system, it helps to limit the maximum number of people, but in a way it is automated. So it's very cost effective. You can reduce personnel deployment. It is accurate because it's scientifically driven, and we also have a proven accuracy. So we prove the accuracy with the video. And it's also accountable. For the store, they have a live dashboard. For management, they have management reports. So there are evidence to provide that they are in compliance. And also, it also gives them data for them to make actionable plan. So comparing manual counting versus automated counting, obviously that's the most basic. There are other ways, obviously, using your phone as a calculator and all that. There are apps on the phone where allow you to do the manual counting, but in an essence, it is still a person doing the counting. Now, the setup cost for personal deployment is actually very high. Depending on the country, the hourly rate could be $5 to $20. So that makes it at least more than $1,400 per month. It could go up to $5,000 per month. Because it's on a contract base, and that you're talking about one person, one store. So when it then obviously go up to when you have many stores, that is very expensive. But with the automated system, this is a typical startup cost. Include it will be your cost to your customer. We obviously sell you at a reseller price, but this is a cost that the market is prepared to pay. And that is a one-off. So once they have set it up, there will be no more recurring fee. So in relative terms, this is way much more economical and cost effective. Now we talk about accuracy. You have no way to prove the accuracy on a manual counting because there is no evidence to provide. And also it will require non-stop manual counting from the first hour to the last hour. Now, and if you have multiple doors, you will need to have multiple personnel, and you need to have the communication in between the doors. You will say, in my door, I have 2 people leaving now, but I'm letting one person in. So your other door, you can only let another person in. So it's very messy. It's almost impossible to manage that way. But whereas with this system, it's a proven 95 to 90. On average, it's 98% accuracy, and it is verifiable. With the manual counting, you can't, but with this, you can verify it with a video. So from the customer perception, from the company, as well as to their shoppers, their visitor, this system is scientifically proven. You have a screen outside actually to show whether or not you can go in or not. It is a data-driven control, so nobody would argue. Obviously, the only thing they can say is whether or not the system is accurate or not, and you have a proof to show them. But other than that, they would not be able to argue. It is there. If the system tells you it's full, it's full, you cannot go in, you have to queue. Whereas with this one, it is very subjective. So, there will be argument with security guards at the door from the customers, and also arguments from the staff in the inside and say, why are you letting so many people in? Things like this. And also there is a long-term benefit. Obviously with this one, it's very short-term. The moment the security guard is gone, they're gone. But with this one, they can use it for, the usual people counting, giving them sales conversion rate, facility management, and all those long-term benefit. So this is how it works. I'm going to just display this video. So explain a little bit. So this is the counter at the door. So you place it just on the inside of the door, and it will start counting the number of people going in and coming out. Now, then this is a display at the door. So with this is counting the occupancy. Now it's full, it will be red. So when someone then goes out, the occupancy drop, so it becomes green again to let the next person in. So now it's full. Now one person go out, it dropped, and another person go in and it's full again. So this is then a very, and it's like real time, is a real time update on that. Is also a very wide coverage for the entrance. And it is quick and easy to install. So it's only one cable installation. So either Cat 5 or Cat 6, we provide the power over Ethernet switch. And it's also plug and play. We do provide complementary installation support. Many of you have already been with us. We do support you on every single installation, and we do the tuning for you. Yeah. So quickly go back on this one. So what do you need? The components are, so sorry, they are the 4 simple steps. So step 1, we install the camera at the door. So, and then we do the tuning, we do the counting in and out. So when the number of in minus the number of out will be the number of occupancy. So we will configure that for you. Sometimes you may have 2 or 3 doors, so we configure that to you for that area. Then you will have the display. So this is then a display at the entrance telling the customer whether or not they can come in or whether or not they should queue. And then what if some customers come in ignoring the sign, even if it's full, then you will have an alert. The staff will receive an alert. So again, this one you will set up the staff, email addresses and what kind of device they will be using. So a timely alert will be sent to the staff. So I'll show you a video, just a real case video of how it actually works. Now, we will share these PowerPoint slides at the end of the session, so you'll be able to see that. So this is going out and this is coming in. So as they come in, it will increase. So this is a display at the door. So now it's full, so it stops. So this person have to wait until someone goes out. Then you have occupancy, you have availability again, they can come in now and then stop. So I will replay that. So, and so that is the one at the entrance. Now you also can have this live occupancy monitor that is show 2 people gone out and now another person have come in, another one. So this is a monitor for the store manager. So for the staff inside the store, so they will be seeing a screen like this to look at the their real-time live occupancy. Yeah. So, so the components of what you will need, it will be our people counting system, our 3D Plus at the door. And then you will need a customer facing dashboard to show the live occupancy, to show the traffic light. And you will have an employee facing dashboard and staff alert system. So this is their dashboard, and then they have a staff alert. And you also get a occupancy reports. This is for management. So you will have branch reports for the store manager to act on, so they can look at what time of the day they are more vulnerable at reaching the maximum, or whether or not they actually breach it. Because obviously then customers are breaching it, they're just coming in. But it is something for them to see so that they have data. They have data to back up the action plan. For the management, top management, the directors, the regional manager, then they can see that which branch has breached a little bit more than the other, and then they will be able to provide more support, maybe more personnel there, or any additional support that they would need. So with this one, they have something to work upon. So this data is important. Now come to the system package. So it is an all-in-one package. We provide all the hardware that comes with all the integrated software. Now the hardware is our camera, the 3D Plus. The software will be the live dashboard, be it customer facing and employee facing, the staff alert and the management reports. Now we do have a very short lead time, so we're still very good with our stock level. So because we understand that with this, many customers are requiring installation very quickly. You'll probably be expecting inquiry to deployment time as short as 3 weeks, sometimes even 2 weeks. Yeah. So what we charge is we charge depending on your level, your reseller level, and also on the volume that you're purchasing. You can get a volume pricing. This is a price that we sell to you, and this is a price we recommend, and we think what the market is prepared to pay. But obviously, we do not control what you're selling. The software is free. The app for the tablet, this one, which is Live Occupancy Dashboard. So the app and the dashboard, and also the employee facing dashboard, and the reports in the analytic manager software, they are all free. There's no subscription fee for that. Now, the key features with our safe occupancy, it is real time. And you have a customer facing and employee facing those displays. It is very accurate because our people counting system has been here for years. It is field tested. Those of you who have already installed, we provide you with verification report to more than 95% accuracy. And if there is any doubt on any accuracy, this can be re-verified at any time. It is efficient and compared to deploying an employee at the door. It is obviously very convenient with all the web-based display. It will also be very timely to alert the staff member if there is any people ignoring the sign and you suddenly have more people in your store that you wanted to. It is also scalable. So whether or not is one store or 1,000 stores, or whether or not is now needing just for occupancy, and then later they want more counts, outside traffic, and also if they're wanting queue counting inside the stores, in-store analytics. So it's very scalable because we have all those added functions within the camera. It is privacy friendly. So many of your customers might ask that, is it compliant to GDPR? It is, and it's more. We are actually GDPR exempt. So the full system is actually exempt from GDPR. The reason being all the data that we collect is anonymized, way down from the camera. So there's nothing that is that they need to specifically compliant to GDPR because it's fully exempt from that. We have documents for that so that you can share to your customers. This is quite key because they want to install it very soon now. Then this is the last thing they want to worry about. Yeah, and it's also proven. We have already we have done more than thousands of locations for many years. Now, the key functions, so you will have the traffic light control at the entrance. So it is a real-time display. If it's within the threshold, it will be green. So having an instruction telling them they can come in. When it's then reached the threshold, it will be red. The reason why we set a threshold is because this will be the new maximum capacity, is not the original capacity of the stores. For example, the original capacity of stores may be 100, but now in order to be able to exercise social distancing properly inside their store, they will have a new threshold that the store will give it to you. So you will then set it there. So it's usually maybe 20–30% of the original occupancy. Now, so this one I want to explain a little bit outside the scope is that the store will now, because we have the data for them, so and we are saying, oh, okay, there are some time that perhaps you are going more than 20. So they will be worried. Does that mean that they are breaching any regulations? They're not. The reason is because this is now the new threshold. The original capacity is 100. So now they're only allowing 20% and they're setting 20. So if any customers is ignoring them and they now suddenly have 22, they are still at 22% of the original capacity, which is way below. So they are still well within, they are still well compliant. But the data is available to show them that there are times that they are 25. Then they can then manage. They will be able to manage that. They'll be able to say, okay, 25 is not good for us. We want to make it 20. things like this. So rather than not having this alert, not having the report to show them, they could go up to 60 unknowingly. So this is a system you need to explain to them, because for them, when they're having a report telling them they're breaching, they'll probably be worried. So we want to say the word breaching a bit more carefully so that they are not worried about they actually breaching anything. They're not, because with this system, they could never go any way beyond their comfort zone. Yeah. So coming back to this, so this is a real-time data update. It is less than every second. It informs your customer whether or not they can go in or not, and you will want to put it at your entrance and exit. So if there is any exit that is pure exit only and no one coming in, then obviously you do not need to display that. This is only display where you have people going in, so that they can see whether or not they should go in or not. Now you have live occupancy dashboard for the employee. This is employee facing. For the store manager, they will have the line graph to show them throughout the day how is their what is their occupancy now and what was it before. So they have a more clearer picture. They will then obviously have this one as well, and it turns from green to red. So when the store manager is looking at their screen and they see red, then they probably can keep an eye on the door and see whether or not any more people are coming in. But of course, not every store staff have the time to actually glue to their dashboard. So an alert is important. So an alert can be sent to their phones, their tablets, or their smartwatch if they're wearing any. So usually the method will be email. Is the quickest way to set up, and obviously is free. You can also do it as an app notification. They install the app, and on the app we will notify them. So this is to make so that they feel very comfortable, even though they are serving customer instead of manning their door. They will still feel that they are protected, because they will have an alert to tell them if there are more than 20 that is coming in, so that they can act more timely. Now, this is the report, as we mentioned, about that, so that they can see. So, for example, here, this is morning, probably 9 a.m. to, like, say 8 p.m. This is the last few days, so they can see that, oh, at this time I'm really high in traffic. My occupancy, has it been more than what I wanted it to be? So I'll be careful with using the word breach, but this is what it is. But they're not breaching the regulation. They're only just breaching the new threshold that they are setting. So with this, they can probably say, okay, what should I do about it? Maybe at that point, if it's repeatingly always on a Wednesday is at that time, I could probably maybe at that time I want to deploy a staff member to the door just to man it. Things like this, or having more other measures in place. So this is something for them to be able to action on. There is also for top management, it will be throughout all the stores, so they can keep an eye on the different stores and review their policies from time to time. Now, then we also have a widget. I have not talked about it before. This is a widget for them to put it on their website. This is a way to help the customers to pre-plan the journey. So customers a lot of time now Google for maybe a supermarket near me. So they will find the stores. They can then see the occupancy. This is so that, you know, before they leave the home, they would be able to check on it. So for example, I'm checking on it now. So this is live. This is at the moment. The occupancy at the store is now, so it's quite crowded. This is then historical data from this morning. Then this is predicted data for the future time. So maybe 2 hours later or an hour later, I'm seeing that, oh, it is prediction is based on historical data last week this time, and also put into elements affected by this week. For example, maybe this week is a specific holiday, or the weather is exceptionally good, so people might come out, or any scenario that is affecting this week, so it ticks into that element. And then we predict what is the traffic likely to be for the rest of the day, and also for tomorrow. So then this is a proactive approach to try to influence their customer traffic, because we already have many supermarkets, many customers asking us direct and also through our our partners, resellers, that they have a huge queue, a very long queue outside their stores. And they're finding that very stressful, because now not only do they need to manage the occupancy inside their store, they feel that they have a responsibility to have to manage the queue outside their store. And a lot of time it is outside their property. So people are queuing way outside to the road. So they feel that that is a responsibility, because obviously people, they take the blame. They take the blame and say, why are you having so many people? And the people who are queuing for your store is now getting into my property. You know, things like this, or going into the road and being unsafe. Should any accident happen to that, then that is the last thing. That's the last thing they need to worry about. And also keeping the social distancing is almost their responsibility, that they have to make sure their customer queuing outside is keeping a 2 meter social distance. So the stress is really there and it's not helping their sales. So if more people are coming at a peak hour at this moment, they can't let people in anyway, it's not going to help their sales. So a lot of customers, businesses are really wanting their customers to come throughout their day. So instead of coming now, they really want them to come at a later time. So that, you know, during a quieter time, they can do more business. So this is a proactive approach that they want to influence. And also they want to be seen that they are taking a proactive approach to influence customer traffic. They're wanting to be seen by the community, that they are giving the community tools to stay safe, so that they are not exposing to unnecessary risk coming to your store to queue. So this is something they want to be seen as doing it. And also for themselves, they really want the customers to stagger their visiting time. Now, we have done this pre-COVID. We have done this for offices, for campuses, that are for those company who have cafeteria or restaurants or canteen within their compound, like a factory or big office compound businesses. They want their employee to stagger their lunchtime, because typically, obviously, the lunchtime at the cafeteria, you have huge queue, you can't find a place to sit. So prior to this, we have been doing this kind of dashboard. And also widget to go on their own intranet, things like this. So we have been doing that. So we are able to put something very quickly. Now, for your customer is already a widget completed. So they do not need to do any integration. For them, they will just provide that part of the coding for their web designer to be able to very quickly. It's probably a 10-15 minutes job to put it on their website for them. So it is very simple and direct. And you'll probably be surprised that a lot of your customers will be pleasantly surprised to know that you are offering that as compared to other system. Integration, we do integration, as many of you know. We integrate with your customers. BI, many businesses have their own business intelligence software, so they want to do the integration. They want to take the footfall data, the occupancy data to their BI system, so that they provide a more metadata for themselves to analyze. We have also integrated many with our partners. Many of our partners have their own software, have their own different offering, so that when we treat ourselves as one part of the, as an IoT, so as one part of the data to provide a more powerful solution. So we have an API which we can share. So you can get data direct from the counter or through our server, which is on the cloud. So there are many different ways of doing that. The data is in JSON, XML data, and there are different ways to do that. And it's also real-time data retrieval. You can retrieve it real-time or at different intervals that you choose. One more thing, another one again is by request, that FootfallCam always are able to provide a relay cable. So on request, you will request it prior to us delivering it out that you want a relay cable. So a GPIO pin to control electric doors. So it is a very simple setup, just as any GPIO, any relay setup is just the two cables to link it to your electronic door. So, so that when it's showing red as stop sign, you can actually close your automatic door so that the door won't open. So with this one, you literally do not need any alert to your staff, although the alert is still there, but staff do not need to go there. So customer can't really ignore the sign. They physically can't come in. So you could do that. You can do it also on the vehicle entrance, the vehicle barrier, so that it won't lift up so the car can't go in. Anything like that. So this could be something that you can do at a later stage. So just to put a relay cable in, but it may not be everyone that is demanding that. So you don't have to mention that to all your customers, so that to keep the solution simple. But if they do request, then it is available. There are additional use cases after the COVID, because you probably be asked, and the customers is also worried. They know that they have to invest in something. They need to put measures in place, be it a manual counting and or any sort of automated solution. They know that they have to invest something, but at the back of the mind is also they are already losing a lot of money when the store is closed. Apart from those obviously supermarkets, they are allowed to open. But then it will be good for them to know that investing in our system, there is a long-term use. It's not just for a short term. They know that they have to invest something for the next 1 year, because the social distancing, even if lockdown is lifted, obviously many businesses can only open when the lockdown is lifted, but the social distancing will be in place for at least a year. As we already know, or the news, we are more worried of the winter that is going to come. So we would like to know that there's additional use cases. The mattresses that we are already counting with your counter at the door, visitor count, outside traffic, turning rate, visit duration, all this. I will explain that a little bit more later to show you all the different reports. And so use cases by industry on the long-term use cases. For retailers, they're always using sales conversion rate as a KPI to monitor all the store's performance. This is something many retailers are already using. So many is already in the back of the mind. They are wanting to install something like this. They just haven't installed it, either due to the they haven't got time to think about that, or they may think that it's not time yet. But now they will think that, okay, it is time, because I'm using it for occupancy, and in the long term, I'm going to use this as my KPI. Supermarkets, so apart from footfall counting, they usually would not be the first one to install the footfall counting. So you probably find that this is a new market that you are now targeting. Because people that comes into the supermarkets, they usually will buy. So they're not one that is worried about sales conversion rate. But now they're using that to predict their queue. For example, if the store manager is seeing that I have 100 people more coming into my store now, then I would kind of predict in half an hour time, 45 minutes time, this 100 people is going to end up at my till to check out. So I will then open 10 more tills to check out in half an hour time. So it allows them to have the time to plan, to pre-plan, to redeploy their staff. So, or they can repurpose it for queue counting, heat map, or zone tracking. Hospitals and office buildings, they already have demand pre-COVID, to be honest, because they were using it for smart building control, and also more importantly is for facility utilization analysis. They're always analyzing how their facility is being used. They will repurpose, they will change their floor plan layout to suit the demand. There are also other functions. So we can extend your system with other IoT functions. We have all these functions here. Many of you have already been using them for your customers. So for people counting, when you put it at the door, you use it as people counting. When you put it at your till, you use it for queue counting. Inside the store for heat map, we also have ESL. So for a lot of supermarkets, pharmacies, convenience stores, ESL is electronic shelf label. So they're already using thousands of ESL within the stores. With the one camera there, you'll be able to upgrade it as an ESL. so that will give you product level SKU code conversion. So is people buying this product against more on the other product, things like this. So, and a lot more other functions. So with the one same camera, they can repurpose, or actually it is actually a footing for a lot of our resellers. So they might buy one camera now for occupancy, and later on using it as a sales conversion rate for the visitor count. But then later it is almost a footing for you to tell them later on, you should have a queue counting, you should have in-store analytics, so that you might start with the one camera for one store, and at a later stage they end up needing 10 to 20 cameras more. So that's the additional use case. Now, product variants. So the cameras, there's no variant apart from very high ceiling to very low ceiling. We have slightly different lenses. There are different display options. So I just want to go through it with you. So the first options will be using a tablet. This is probably one of the popular one, because tablet, if you buy an Android tablet, is quite cost effective. It's usually under $200 that you can get one. You obviously would need to get a stand. Also, a lot of your customers, you probably will find a lot of businesses already have some sort of tablet in place. They use it for checkout. When it's a busy time, they use it as a smart checkout, so a mobile checkout terminal, or they use it for staff training. They might already have a tablet that they may not need to use it now. They can just repurpose it. So then there will be no cost to them. The tablet can then use a Wi-Fi to connect to our counter. Our counter will act as a proxy, so they don't need to use the store Wi-Fi. So with that, and then we connect it onto the internet to the server so that they get the real-time data there. The second option is they might tell you and say, I have a TV screen that I can use, but of course some digital display signage, the screen itself is a screen you could not go online. They can obviously connect it to any desktop, any computer that they have that they can repurpose, or if they really struggle in finding a computer or a screen that can go online, we can provide you with a mini computer. So this is FootfallCam mini computer. It is the size of the palm, so that you can Visa mount it at the back of the monitor. If they don't have a Visa mount at the back of the monitor, you can just Velcro on it. You do need a power, so there is a power, a cable, and you connect it with HDMI. So you need a HDMI cable. It actually comes up from the USB-C. So if they do not have HDMI, they have a DVI, you just need to get an adapter for that, or a VGA, you just need to get an adapter for that, the USB-C to that VGA or DVI. So you can use that. So so this is a way we do sell them at about $200 USD. So this is if they are struggling to find a display screen of their own or a computer of their own, and then you just connect it up like that. Or some customers might come to you. We do provide a digital signage. Our one is a magic mirror. It's a 24-inch. It is an interactive digital signage. Now this is more expensive. We're talking about £1,500 per unit. Now, but you may find sometimes your customers saying that I don't want to invest in a tablet that I'm not going to use again in the future, because they might say that I know it's $200, but if I need to invest for 500 of my stores, that's quite an investment, and I don't want to make that investment if I'm never going to use it again. But all stores will need some sort of digital signage. They do not feel the digital signage is too waste. They will think that in the future, I will put my advertisement there. Or many restaurants, they're going to use it as a kiosk so that people can, as a order placement kiosk. So fast food chain, restaurants, cafe area, they might then show their menu of the day. So digital signage is something that all stores will have. They're prepared to invest in that money. Our digital signage has already come inbuilt with a computer because it does interaction. Of course, if they already have a digital signage that has computer in place, then you can reuse that. But if they don't, If they needed to do one, we do supply that. And again, this is where you connect onto the internet. It can be Wi-Fi, but we obviously prefer a wired connection, and that's how it will display as well. So those are the 3 display options. Case studies. So we have already implemented actually in more than 32 government departments now in different countries, and now is more than 121 retailers. We are actually increasing by the day of where we're deploying, and our customers, when they're deploying, is a complete national rollout. One of the example is Hong Kong government facilities, where we have installed for their immigration towers, where they have foreigners are needing to extend their visas, so and people applying for passports and things like this. So obviously a lot of immigration operation that they need to do, and also for their centers for their own citizens. So traditionally, typically in their waiting room, they're always packed. So at this moment, obviously that cannot be allowed to happen. So they need to have systems like this in place. The one that I'm wanting to highlight here is the multi-language. So you can see that we can actually display multiple language, but you will need to provide us with the translation. So it can be any translated into any language as long as you provide us with the translation. Also, as you know, naturally, many supermarkets and grocery stores that are open are needing to provide them on this. Now, this is pre-COVID. Prior to COVID-19, the reason why we are able to react so quickly for the market, we literally have a week to react to it. So we have already launched our product a few weeks ago, is because we have already done something similar on occupancy. Prior to COVID, the occupancy system was required for crowd control. So it's for venues that have big crowds. So to avoid stampede, for example, with this one is Mecca, the mosque in Saudi Arabia. The capacity is 1.5 million. And during peak traffic time, you know, with the months of Hajj, they literally have more than that of people needing to get in. So theirs is a very serious issue, very serious health and safety issue that they need to protect people from stampede, which can kill, obviously. So the crowd control is a very big thing for them. So I'm going to zoom in here so that you can see. I'm going to explain a little bit about that crowd control dashboard there. Sorry. I need to go down there. Sorry, a bit fiddly. Apologies. So, okay, we got it here. All right. So this is the different doors. So they are installing a camera into all the different doors that are coming into this area. So then we provide an occupancy in this area, and then a further door going to the inner circle, and then going to the central courtyard. And then they have different floors as well, and then into the different facilities around there. So they have many. The project is 2,000 counters in their compound. So what they have is a primary, the first threshold. So a lot of these, we're not just doing for this, but this is as an example, stadiums, a lot of stadiums, exhibition halls, so those big venues that needing to do crowd control. So usually what they have, they already have security guards at the venues for managing the crowd, for diverting the traffic, but this is a way for them to work more efficiently, is where they need to deploy their security guards to. So what they usually have is a first threshold that is on average, usually at about 60% of the maximum capacity. So anything that is below that first threshold is green, so security guards would not need to worry at that point. And then they have a second threshold, which is usually at about 90%, 85 to 90% of their maximum capacity. So anything in between will be yellow. So for example, here, the security manager will probably need to start deploying staff to those places. And this is then over their 90%, which is nearing their capacity, their maximum capacity. So for this one is red. So this is where their staff should already be there at the door, exercising 1 out, 1 in policy. So this will allow them to be able to manage and redeploy their staff very, very quickly to where it is needed. So they're using very scientific driven data to manage the crowd. Now, I want to talk a bit more about sales and marketing support. Now, this system is a bit different. So we are obviously not here to try to teach you how to sell. You are more expert than we are. But we're just trying to share what is very unique to this solution and what is unique in this market for this situation. Now, the key market segments now, the characteristic for the demand is where they have an immediate high demand for this solution. The uniqueness is that way. When you have something that is a very high demand, that product would usually become a commodity. So, for example, you need computer. There's high demand for computer, for laptops. Now laptops is a commodity. But when you combine, usually you won't become a high demand so immediately. It takes years to become a commodity. But now you're actually having a very unique situation where the demand is actually immediate. So literally your customers will tell you, I want it now. So you have this product, it's good enough. When can you do it? If you can't do it next week, I will have to go somewhere else. So the demand is really very, very immediate. And also the demand will actually last for at least a year. So it's not it is a trend, but it is not a very, very short life one. And it is also something that they have to do. So it's not a good to have, it's almost a must have for them. So this is a very unique situation. We have not seen this situation. It's not a lot of this situation in the history. So it is a very unique one. And the key decision makers is actually the top management, the CEO and directors. The reason being, usually they are not the one who is making purchasing decision. They usually have a procurement team, but now because it's them who is needing to make a strategic decision. It is almost a strategic decision for them to say, if I reopen, what I must put in place. So it is them that are making a decision. Now, as we all know, if the decision comes from this top level, then it is easy to sell because the purchase is immediately there. The budget is there. They are definitely going to go ahead. So you wouldn't have where you need to do a lot of presentation and then just going to find out that the top management decided to on hold it. So it won't happen that way because this will then come from top down. And each sales cycle is very, very short. Typically with the people counting system, a lot of our partners, you probably already know, sometimes it takes 3 months. 3 months is fast already for us. A lot of them, they take 6 months, 9 months, and even a year and a half to make a decision to buy the people counting system. But for this occupancy system, the sales cycle is 3 weeks. From the first inquiry to the decision to say, okay, I need to deploy is very short. So do please be prepared. You need to have your resources as well to do a national rollout. And the rollout will be a complete deployment. They won't have time to go into a bid. There won't be a bidding process because they simply do not have time. They will still get a few quotes around for comparison, but you won't have a lengthy bidding process. And also the deployment. So they usually will request for national rollout straight away without a pilot. So because they do not have time for a pilot. And it's a very quick and high conversion rate if you cold call them. By emails or calls, that we find there's a very, very high conversion rate. And this is a experience from ourselves and also from our partners who share it with us. Now, the target markets can also be slightly different. A lot of our partners have their customer base on retail, but now you're finding where there are different markets as well, where you're not usually exposed to, but now provide you with a stepping stone to, or we'll say, open up all your opportunity for all these different segments. Supermarkets, DIY stores that have been open, they probably already have something in place, or if not, they really need to put something in place now. fast food chains, this is they are allowed to open now, but not taking anyone going in store. They are drive-through or online delivery order. They are very eager to open up. And they could, at peak time, they could have many people queuing in their store. So they really need something in place, and they're very eager to reopen. So this is something that, you know, normally they would not need a people counting system, because everyone goes into a fast food chain, of course they buy, so they're never worried about sales conversion. So this is not someone that is typically would buy from you for a people counting system, but now they will be needing an occupancy system in place. Retail stores, now public venues, banks, shopping malls, of course, and government facilities. So you may not be exposed to government facilities now, but they're now needing, because government facilities, usually they have their own preferred vendor for their CCTV, for all the other lighting requirement. But now this is so new that their usual vendors have got nothing to provide to them. So they are just open to anyone that are able to provide them. And they're usually the first one that they really need, because they are the one that says you need to keep the social distancing. So they are the one that needs to set it as an example. They have to be seen to have system in place. So that's why we have done quite a few of them. And you could have from this, the national security, or that comes from, you know, local council as well, for their immigration center, for hospitals, for any of their office buildings when they're reopening, libraries, museums, those that serve local services, local needs. So these are the segments that you'll probably be prepared to expose yourself to. Now, so what we will provide you, if you're getting started, you can have the evaluation kit. So we'll provide you with the cameras, cameras with the wall bracket. We'll sign you up on our partner program. We also give you a price list as a reseller. We do have ready stocks. So again, that's what's repeating. Now, we do help you with to market to your region. So we have marketing materials. So you want to set up a web page in your local language. We have a reseller media pack, which you can download from here, or we can share the link to you, which will contain the content and image and the keywords for SEO, so that can help you quickly set up your web page, one web page on your website. So and that you will find that a lot of, you know, the government department or anyone that are looking, they're now really searching Google. You probably find the hottest Google's keywords now will be for COVID-19 on occupancy. So we will share you those keywords that you probably want to target. We will share you the presentation slides. We'll share these presentation slides in PowerPoint format, so you can repurpose. You can do it the way that is suitable for you to present to your own client. And we can promote your company in our website as the partners for your country, for your region. We also help you to promote so cold emails. This is one that we are finding is very efficient. So cold emails in a way is a cold call, but instead of calling them, you are sending them an email. So what you do is you go on Google, you search a list of, for example, you search a list of supermarkets in your country. So you find those names and you know how many stores they have. Then you kind of like search who is the CEO or their sales director or the operating director or the IT director. So you get those names. So because those names are quite publicly available. And then you might find a pattern of their email. Obviously you wouldn't find the CEO email address on the on Google, but you could probably find somebody's email. So and then you will find the pattern. It is usually first name dot last name at supermarket.com, something like this. And then because that is usually their corporate way of their email, then by the name of the CEO, then you will be able to send them. And I want to share this, the success rate is really, really high. So you do a MailChimp, so when you compile the list of all those emails that you want to send, you do a MailChimp bulk email sending out to them, you'll be surprised that you actually get a lot of response from them because for them, they are finding that your email is quite timely because is something they are planning to do. And when you contact them, they are finding that, oh, this is a solution that I've been looking for. They will actually come back to you. And if they are the one who are coming back to you, then sales is easy to do. Obviously, you will conduct a meeting with the decision maker. We will provide you with the PowerPoint slides, and if you needed any more detail like data sheet and all that, we can provide that. We will emphasize the speed and ease in deployment. We will also pass local leads to you to follow up if you're open to that. We will say if any inquiry that comes through our website, we will then pass it to you. We also have in login, we call it the ring fence for you. So if you're working for a specific customer that you are already working, obviously we say that please don't ring fence before you actually get in contact with that customer. So you only ring fence those that you're already working with, that you know that are quite interested. So then you log it with us. We will make sure that we do not compete with you, and we'll make sure that if it hasn't been ring fenced with other resellers, or we can tell you that, oh, we have another reseller who is already actively working with them and they have ring fence, then you may not want to waste your time with this, and you can continue on with the other, because now the market is really huge. So that way we ring fence, we help to protect your interests and to try to minimize the competition for you, because the market is huge. We will probably want you to target different customers as possible. The sales techniques, obviously, I'm not trying to teach you your normal sales techniques, but it's something just very specific for this product I want to share, is that you know the CEO why they want to have the system in place. One is they need to obviously comply with the government safety regulation. They need to do their business with peace of mind. The last thing they want is they have to resign if they haven't put something in place. So they have to protect their position as well. Now, they have to be seen using a high-tech, scientifically driven method. So therefore, that traffic light screen on the outside of the door is key. So the customer-facing display is key, because the customer will be able to see the company have put in a scientifically driven method in the store to protect the staff and shoppers. And the employee-facing dashboard is also important, because that is a way to show their employee that the company has invested in something to protect you. So again, this is something very visible. Then they can be seen on doing so. And also, a lot of the staff and shoppers, they don't believe the man at the door, the security guard at the door. They only argue with them. The shopper will argue that it's still very empty in the store. Please let me in. I've waited for an hour. The employee inside, when they have been doing so many checkouts, they will complain and say, why are you letting so many people in? They're not keeping the social distancing. So, you will have a lot of headaches, a lot of hassles for the company. And obviously the display screen is transparent and also cost effective. Now, the widget on the website, this is also another key selling point. It is to be shown to even the wider community that they are proactively having a system in place to check the current occupancy and also to predict the occupancy. This is to be seen as taking proactive approach. So customers is almost quite comfortable that they already have something in place. So if I come into their stores, they are the one that have a protection for me. It is also to manage the customer's expectation, because they are having a lot of grumpy customers when they are having to queue outside for an hour. But if a customer is checking and they see that it's quite crowded now and they still decide to come down to the store, then they are already expecting to queue. So this is giving a better customer experience. So this is also a winning point. Now, off the shelf, this is the most important factor taking into consideration. Now, a lot of them, especially big company, sometimes they might get their own IT team to come up with something, or they have a preferred vendor that have done their CCTV or other things. So they know that they are big enough, they can get someone to customize something for them. But the key they are not ready to use. Any of your competitor, they're not ready to use. System like this can be built, but they probably need at least 2 months, 3 months to do that. But this system is off the shelf, and it is ready to use, and it's not just been using for a week or so. It has been used for years. So it is a proven system that has been used in the field for many years, and now it is now ready for your occupancy tracking. So this is a combination that is very key to them. They know that we have proven case studies that we have already done national rollout, key deployment around the world, and using that system, we have already deployed 500,000 counters worldwide. And it's a very high accuracy. I'll explain a little if you do not already know of our verification report with video proof, and there's a long-term usage. This is also something that they would make a decision, is that the total project cost is very low to these customers, especially compared to the urgency and seriousness of this current situation. I want to show you the enterprise class software. So I've explained a bit more about the COVID-19, how it works. Now I wanted to show you, so it is enterprise class software. It is not something that is just put together. I will show you the real one. So this is where they log in. So they log into the system. So you will have a display. So this is something that it will be an URL that they can use on their tablet or their monitor, so that they can show to their store. And then they for employee facing, they have a dashboard like this. So this is combining the counters. So it can be one counter or it can be multiple counters. So for example, this particular area, you have 3 entrances that can go into the area. They can go into the stores. So what we do is we combine all 3 counters, combining their visitor in and the visitor out. So how many that comes in minus how many that goes out will give you the occupancy. Now you see that is being updated every second, actually less than a second. So this is the occupancy that they have now. So depending on if you have now, then you have more people come in, so it goes out, and then you have people going out. So immediately it dropped back down again. So with this typical one, they will have, because all 3 entrances are allowing people coming in and going out, although this is their main entrance, and you can see that this is their main exit, but they do go in and out on all this and all this. So all these 3 entrances will need a display. If this is an exit only and people don't go in, then you probably won't need a display here. But because they are allowing people to go in as well, you do want a display. So these 3 display will display the same occupancy, so that if someone come in here, then the occupancy level will be updated for these 2 other doors as well, so that people don't go in. So it's being updated, and people on all 3 entrances will know where they need to go. Now, I do have a questions to ask, then I probably want to share it here so that you get the idea as well. So I have a questions asked before that, what if, okay, now I am full, and then suddenly I have 1 person go out. So now these 3 entrances is showing that 1 person can go in, and all 3 people go in. All 1 person from each entrances have gone in, and now you have 3 went in instead of the 1 that you allow. So what would happen then? So 2 key things here. One is that this is per second update, so it's very quick. So when one of this person go in, immediately all 3 screens will be red. So you wouldn't have more than the 3 coming in. So this is first key. So it's very real time, is per second. So if you have more than people going in, you're not going to have too many, because the next second it will have been updated and people should have waited, should then stop going in. So that is one thing, is 1 second. So you want to see how many people could reach that within the 1 second. It's probably 1 person or 2 person or 3 person maximum. Okay, so that is one key. And then the second key is that the occupancy level now is the new occupancy. It is not the original maximum capacity. So as I mentioned again, the original capacity is 100. Now they have already reduced it to 20%, or we say 30%. So it's 30 people. So if they have a bridge, instead of 30, they now have 32, because instead of the one coming in, they have 2 extra coming. Now it's 32. They are still at 32% of the maximum capacity, which is still way under. So you want to, because that question probably came from the end user who are worried. So we are not talking about those actually Mecca, where they have 1.5 million people, where they're actually breaching their actual capacity. This is not breaching their actual capacity. This is now, the new capacity, which is way much lower. So hopefully that explains a little, and then you would be able to explain it to your customer if they raise the question. Now then, so this is the live dashboard. We have the analytics center. They, store manager or regional manager or sales director, they'll be able to compare the different stores. So they can go to, the different stores and then compare it with all the different metrics for that. You notice that this is in Dutch, it's not in English. Again, this software can be multi-language. If we do not have that language for you, you would be able to provide us with a translation. So we would then rely on you to translate it, but then we'll be able to display that one. They can compare it with their different store on there. So for example, I can't remember which one I chose now, but they can then compare with the different stores and see what they are like. Now then you have the company reports. So these are the reports. So for example, company level reports. So you have different things. So this is life occupancy. This is like for a building. So this is the total occupancy in the whole building. So for example, if they have 2 doors on the ground floor that comes into their building. So with that 2 cameras, it will already give them the live occupancy in the whole of the building. So this is like for office. This is their maximum capacity. So this is what is now. They can obviously put in their renewed capacity, whatever. So this is a configuration they can change at any time. And then it gives you the utilization rate. And then if they put additional cameras in the lift, in the lift and the staircase, then we can then give them a breakdown of the occupancy on the individual floors. So of the 270, 100 is on ground floor, 120 on first floor and second floor and so forth. So now first floor we say is reaching nearly 80% of the maximum. So no one else goes into the first floor, things like this. But everyone can start using second floor. So you are able to then divert your traffic. And then if they're having more cameras in individual rooms, this is a lot of offices are now starting to use this. So if you have not got customers who are in the in blue chip company or those office buildings, the landlords of those office buildings, this is something that they're really putting in. We have already put in for offices pre-COVID, therefore facility utilization, but now they are wanting to divert their traffic for the employee so that they know which room they can go into. So typically they will put a screen with this floor occupancy so the employee can see, okay, I better not go into that room because it's max, but this room is completely empty. I can go in there. Even this is underutilized, so I could use those rooms. So they are able to quickly see where they should go on there. We also have demand for putting into toilets. So toilets are public toilets, shopping malls, toilets in shopping malls, bus station, all those restaurants, or any businesses that provide toilets to the public, schools, factories. So they are, so that they typically, especially with the women's toilet, we queue up a long queue inside, right? Because they take for ages to use the toilet. So this is a way you can put a signage in the display outside so that people can wait outside instead of crowding on the inside. So there are demand there. This is more facility utilization. Again, this is like a lecture hall. Then if they're finding that are usually always underutilized, then their facility team might then split the lecture hall into 2 smaller ones, things like this. This is like the cafeteria area. So this is what I mentioned before, that companies have been using the system to stagger the employee lunchtime. So we put cameras at the queue for the buffet area or those food serving counters, and then obviously cameras that goes into this area, so that we have an area occupancy as well. So that employee, before they leave the desk, they can quickly see how's the queue now, how is the occupancy now, so that they can judge whether or not they should come down here. Would they be able to get their food quickly enough, and would they be able to find a seat? So this is where we have already been using this occupancy widget. Other reports, so like people counting, many of you have been using our people counting already, but for those that are new, these are like total visitors for their company-wide, nationwide on a weekly report. This is one of the most popular report. There are a lot of the directors will want to get it every Monday morning, 7 a.m. So they will read it on their way to work, things like this. So they're seeing the total visitor across their estate. What is the usual average visit duration? Has it improved or has it been worse than compared to the week before? Returning rate, best store, worst store on a map. So their region, visitor count, how many people come into my store by month, by week, by day, their trend compared to last year, how is that? Outside traffic, how many people are outside that come in? And so this is the line is the outside traffic. For example, here you're seeing that I still have a lot of outside traffic, but why is there not a lot of people coming in and here as compared to that one? So this is an opportunity for my store to do something outside, maybe to try to attract people coming in, because if I can attract a lot, this is an opportunity window where I have potential to attract more people coming into my store, and hence more sales. So for example, you're seeing an opportunity window here and here and here. And this one, you could probably kind of like close at this time, not bother to open this, because obviously you can cut costs on that, on wages, because there are not a lot of people out there and there are not a lot of people coming in. So things like this will be able to, for them to make a decision based on data. Visit duration, how long they have stayed in your store, and then break down into, these are the ones that are staying a very short time. So maybe they just come in and go out again. These are the ones that stay between 15 to 30 minutes. So they are actually looking. This is probably the one that actually buying. So they spend far more time than that. So they can adjust their demand on their staff to how should they be managing their customers. Returning customers, so you can see, look at your loyalty, 17% of your customers come back again, things like this, and sales conversion, and a lead table. So which store is doing better than the other, so they can obviously is a incentive for the stores to perform better, and also for the top management to manage them. And likewise, this is one for occupancy. They can then see which one has reached a lot more time, so that they can provide support to those stores. Marketing effectiveness, again, is a report that they really like. I'll go to very quickly because we have got quite a lot of reports that we already have for your customers. So this is when they're running a campaign, so they can put in the start and end time of the campaign, so they can look at things before, during, and after the campaign on the visitor count, turn-in rate, returning customer sales conversion. Staff planning, so this is footfall to staff ratio, so that usually is like the more staff you have to be able to serve certain number of customers, obviously there's more sales you make, but the more staff is a cost to the company, so you really want to strike a balance. So here is a heat map on the different days and also different time of the day. So on a Monday, 11 o'clock, you are understaffed, but on a Friday, say 4 p.m., you are overstaffed. So when you're overstaffed, you have spent that extra money, and for understaffed, you have a missed opportunity of $1,500. So this obviously combining with their sales data. And you can also have staff planning for coming weeks. This is prediction. So our prediction engine was built way before COVID. So we have already built our prediction engine for staff planning. So we've built that for many years. Zone analytics, so for example, where we are talking about malls, departmental stores, office buildings, now we're doing campuses, universities campuses, big hospital campus, factory campus, and also some are office headquarters where they have a massive campus of different buildings. They want to do zone profiling, the different zone, how are the capacity or people, where are the popular zone, and also the traffic flow. Where do people go? So people come in the main entrance, how many percentage are going to this corridor, how many going to the food court, and then after that, where do they go? If they go to the food court, do they go back home? Do they go straight to the car parks, or do they go to certain place? For universities, like they come in, and then which department they go to? Is it because they're going into the lecture hall, and then at lunchtime, where do they go, and things like this. So those are more for facility management that they're doing that for that. Now, also fast food, different channel, fast food will have a different demand. They want to look at the tables, whether or not their tables are occupied, or they are clean and ready to serve, or they still have dirty dishes on top of the table that hasn't been cleared away. Dustbins for fast food restaurants, for shopping malls, these are all facility management. Toilets, so that they don't clean based on schedule, because that is very costly and not efficient. They then now want to clean the toilets based on usage. So they're putting a camera on the outside of toilets and say, how many people have used the toilets, then I will then clean at that time. So again, that is using your resources based on demand instead of based on schedule, which is non-efficient and is costly. Something I mentioned before, which is product level sales report. So you have a camera in store that you're looking down, and then you're looking at all the other different products. We can see that the customers, how many are passing by this aisle to give you a pass-by of those products, and how many are engaging with the specific product. We do have a very accurate way of seeing whether or not people are touching the product at the top shelf or on the bottom shelves. So we can give them the percentage of engagement and the sales conversion and dwell time per product. This is then, of course, with this, you get your foot in with the counter at the door, but later they will then require far more cameras in store for this in-store analytics. Now I want to draw you with the verification. So many of you have already been with us. You know that we do the tuning for you, so you don't have to worry about how to tune the cameras. We do every single one as soon as you've installed them, and then we provide a verification proof. So how we do that is we record a video, so a half an hour video or an hour video, and then we sit down there and we do a manual observation. So we count them. So a video looks like this. So then, so you have people coming in. The number on top of their head is their height, because with 3D, we actually see a person's height. So that's the number there. So we obviously have the counting line on there. So as they come in and as they go out, we will then start counting on there. So what we do is we actually have a team that their job is to watch video and do the manual counting. So they count that. So I'll stop that for the time being. So I come back here. So when they count and then compare to the system count and combining with a few video, then will give you the total. So for this particular one, we counted 119, but the system only counted 116. So there is a discrepancy of 3. So the accuracy is 97%. So we provide this to you so that and to your customers. So your end customer will be able to see. So you will have you will not then have any more headaches of your customers saying to you that your system is not accurate. So anytime your customer have that doubt whether or not it's accurate, you just call for another verification studies, record another video, sit there and count. This report is provided to your customer. Your customer can anytime click on it and watch that video and count themselves. So they can sit down there and watch the half an hour video and count themselves to see whether it's actually 45. Then that way is very transparent, because especially for retailers, when they're using it for sales conversion rate as a KPI to beat up their staff, the store manager, to say, hey, you know, your conversion rate is not good enough. the first thing they blame will be on the system and say that people counting system is not accurate. Now, then for the top management, the only thing they can do is change brand. That is why we have already replaced many different brands out there. The reason is because they do not have a transparent way to prove their accuracy. And for the top management, they can't do much if they have a lot of their stores telling them that it's not accurate. And the stores do know every time they're being questioned, why is their performance not good enough? They know they should just blame the people counting, and then they will get, you know, they will get away with it. So we have already replaced many of them. Because of this. So this is quite key, and you want to then tell your customers that with this system is proven. So in a way, it gives them a peace of mind that even if they're not doing a pilot, they know that each and every one, you will prove the accuracy to them. So that's one thing. So this is enterprise level software. So apart from all the dashboard that we're providing, all the reports, company level and site level, because this is for store manager to act on, this is for top management to look at. Apart from that, we have all those tools in place for maintenance. So obviously the setup, they can set up their different users, you know, their email plan, a notification alert, who is it sending it to, import, export of those data, but also for maintenance, we have an issue tracker. So in here, it will be all their different branch, the different cameras in the different branch to have it on there. This is the report. So when they go there, that is what they are looking at, that verification report that I've just shown you. If they have any doubt, they can record a video at any time, and then they can then look at it again. So top management can then go back to the store and say, look, the accuracy is there. Now work on your sales conversion. So they can do that. Now, any system error message will be here. If your customer need to raise a support ticket, they can raise it here and we will feedback there. So the tools is already there for you to manage. And we also have health check. So the health check is we check constantly throughout the day whether all the cameras are online. If they're online, are they counting? If they are counting, is the counting data being transmitted to the server? So we do all this. And for example, for this one, they have 129 sites. They have aggregated data for 122 sites. Oh, they have 6 sites that are offline. So why are they offline? So there will be a lot of, because we have indicator light, the system will tell us what it is. And then, for example, this one is pending customer feedback. So which are the ones that are offline? So some of the reason why they're pending customer feedback is usually that they are undergoing refurbishment. So because if it's any other fault, it will be that. This one is they undergone a refurbishment of the store, so they disconnected the camera and then they will reconnect the camera back when they reopen. So this is usually the case because otherwise it will be other reason. Accuracy issue, anything that we detected or the customer raised will be here. All this, any error that we detected here, an alert will be sent to the person in charge. So if they're subscribing to our support contract, it will be us. If you are charging your customer for a support, you're taking care of that, then that alert will goes to you. Or if the customer is maintaining the system themselves, then they will receive the alert to their IT team. So these are the tools that are already there. It's available. They have a lifetime license to this platform. So we do not charge any subscription for this platform. If they own the camera, they will have access to the platform for life. And they will have this tool to be able to maintain it themselves. Now, this is a health check to check the camera is counting and have data. Now, what if you have data? Is the data good enough to use? So this is what we call the data integrity. And this is per store level, for example, on this store. So this is site level. So we assume the number of people that goes in will go out at the end of the day. So really you should have the same number, but because any system is not 100% accurate, we say above 95% is acceptable. So we accept a discrepancy of under 5%. Anything that is more than 5%, an alert again will be sent out. So this is less than 1%, 0.14% of a discrepancy throughout that week. So they can see that. We also have measures in place to check whether or not there's any abnormal data. For example, at a certain hour, you have exceptionally high data or you have exceptionally low data. Again, that will alert. So these are different measures in place that we have put in to show what we will obviously teach you how you're going to interpret those data. And we also have a historical snapshot of the camera. This is the left lens, this is the right lens, and this is the configuration. So it will be there for you to reference, so that if it's not counting accurately, is it because someone have changed the configuration, or whether the camera has been knocked out of the normal angle. For example, this one, they have been closed for the last 3 months. So this is always there for you. So a typical thing, it will be like they suddenly put some decoration, a bunch of balloon at the door, or they have sales banner dangling from the ceiling. So these are the typical thing. So this is all the tools there for them to maintain that on our enterprise class software. We have gone through this already on the live demo, but these are some links there for you when you get these PowerPoint slides, so that you can click and go and look at that and obviously show your customer. I want to talk a little bit, this is last thing I want to talk about is the hardware. So many of you have already used, you notice that we are actually metal casing. We are very different to all the cameras out there. They are all plastic casing. We typically use a metal casing. There are two reasons for that. One is it is mainly for heat dissipation. Obviously, it's a more quality looking. It is a little bit more expensive than a plastic casing, but the main issue is for heat dissipation. You will see your laptop is actually a metal casing. It's rarely a plastic casing. The reason why is your laptop needs to cool down. So when you touch your laptop, it is warm. That is because it is diverting all the heat from the CPU to the surface. So from the surface to the environment. So it is for heat dissipation. We actually have a full laptop in there. It is a full computer in there. The reason why we put a full computer is actually quad-core processor. The reason why we're putting it there is so that we can run many intensive image processing algorithm concurrently. So any 3D system, if they're only just using one algorithm, they're never going to be accurate. The only way to improve accuracy is that you can run multiple algorithms together, because each algorithm will be optimized for a specific scenario, for a specific environment. So the ability to run multiple algorithms together is so that you can adapt to changing environment. So that is the only way that you can improve your accuracy. And obviously this image processing algorithm, you're running real time. So a lot of image processing algorithm, you're running it on a recorded video. So it is a post-processing. So those obviously are not, they have all the time to go and post-process it. They can take 1 day to post-process and 1 hour video. But now the challenge there is that you need to do it real time, because people walk past the door within seconds. They don't take 3 seconds to walk past the door. They take under 3 seconds to walk past the door. So you really need to run that real time on the camera. So this is edge technology, so it's everything running there. So that's why it's very hot, and you want to keep the CPU cool. If it's a plastic casing, then your CPU will be so hot, it will then hang. So with the plastic casing camera, is because usually they do not generate that much heat, because typically with a camera, you use the camera as an eye. A lot of IP cameras out there, you use it as an eye, because the brain is usually on the NVR or the DVR or somewhere on the server to process the image to count. So that is that is a way that uses a lot of bandwidth, and also you wouldn't be able to do it real time. So now when it's all done in the camera, you really need a metal casing to do heat dissipation, because otherwise you will be you will be non-stop rebooting your camera, and the camera is on the ceiling at your customer site. That is the last thing that you will have, you will want to do. The other thing that we minimize all the maintenance, we use a triple redundancy on our operating system, the OS. This one we reference the aircraft. So you would be pleased to know that, you know, on your aeroplane, you have both wings and you have those engine on your wings, each of your wings. So touch wood, their design is that should the aircraft have only one remaining engine to run, it can still land the aircraft safely. That's a redundancy that the airplane has put in. So we reference that, obviously a little bit over engineering for our small people counting camera here, but this is where we are wanting to reduce maintenance. As you know, your laptop, your tablet, your phone, they all have one operating system. Be it Windows, iOS, or Linux, or anything like this, you have one operating system. What they do is, if you have run it for a while, it will hang, it will get slower and slower, and then it will hang. So what you do then is that you reboot it. So it's no big deal, you reboot it. But then you don't want to do, again, you don't want to do that on the ceiling at your customer site when you have installed thousands of them. So what we do is we actually put in 3 operating systems on our computer, on our counter there, so that if one goes down, which is a very common thing, then the second will continue counting. You wouldn't notice it. So the second one will continue counting. It will also send a command back to the first one to reboot it. And you still have the third one as a backup. So this one will really reduce all your call outs or your maintenance by more than 90%, you know, on that, just with this alone. Now, obviously, we then obviously have all the other features that we talk about. Now, this is almost Q&A session. I just want to go through the frequently asked questions, because probably you already have that questions in mind. So what if you have multiple entrances, and can then system deal with multiple doors? And yes, that is, we have already shown you an example of how that is done just now. And also, if you have multiple doors for multiple area, so what you want to do is you would then need to, the only thing that you need to do is let us know which doors serve for which area, so that we can configure it accordingly. And then the display will show the total occupancy. So you will choose which area occupancy you want to display on each of your on your display. Yeah. And how do we activate the feature to integrate the electronic door? So as mentioned before, we can obviously show you the wiring diagram as well if you need that. Is a relay, is a 2-cable relay to connect to your electric door. There is no more additional accessories that you need. You will just need to tell us that that is what you plan to do, and then we make sure that 2-cable is there for you. So you're planning to use your own tablet as a display screen. Is there a recommended brand? We would say Android, so any Android brand, to have the version 9 and above for that. And if we do provide the stands and hardware, unfortunately we don't. So we have some resellers who are already providing them. They have source. But then if you're struggling to source your own, let us know. We can probably share that to you. And where can I get the live occupancy app? So when you set it up, we have a setup guide we can share with you. So when you have, so that we will tell you once you set it up, because the link will be unique to you. You will have a username, password for that specific store. So we will then share that with you. So we will have all this on the setup guide. So the first step would be to install the camera there. Then the other steps will naturally follow. And we have all those guides there for you. And these are the useful links. So we have it here for you with all the different documents that you can refer to. Some other documents that we have, we can share to you later if you require, is the API document that we mentioned about integration. So you have all those script ready for you to integrate directly to the camera or to the server, and we help you with the integration as well. This is a very popular thing that we have been doing because all the retailers probably will require some sort of integration anyway. So GDPR exemption, we have a fact sheet. We also have a lengthy documents, so that if your customer's data protection officer will require that, you can just pass that on to them. Once they see that, they will be comfortable, they will be satisfied, that is really fully exempt from the GDPR, and then they won't have to worry about having to put the system within their policy. Because when it's exempt, they don't need to put it into their policy, and they wouldn't need to have measures in place if someone wants to opt out and things like that. So they wouldn't have the trouble to do that. We also have a reseller media pack, which there is a link there, so that you can get all those website content and SEO keywords and all that. Something that you might want to know is some more case studies. So for example, telecommunication company that this we work through our partners in Italy, that we have installed more than 1,000 stores now and throughout Italy, for car showroom, for retailers. So these are fashion retailers, different product retailers, perfume shop. Watson's Group is a very big group. They have 15,000 stores worldwide, so we have installed for them. Office buildings. So we have installed many as well globally, and there are many offices out there that are looking into it now, especially when they're big offices. They really cannot afford not to have a system in place, and you can naturally see that they're not going to have a crowd going in, so it's impossible for them to have a security guard standing there for these offices, but they have people going in throughout the day, and they need to make sure the occupancy level is maintained throughout the day. But they have other use cases as well: energy consumption, facility utilization, and traffic flow. That's something that they always wanted anyway. Fast food. So we're working with KFC Global for that. So they're wanting to measure how many people, how long they take to queue and order their food and collect their food. And now many other fast food chains as well wanted to know they need to control people going into the stores to order. We have mentioned about this crowd control for big venues, exhibition halls, stadiums, sports facilities, those areas. They needed crowd control throughout the time anyway. So apart from now, but throughout for all the different events for many years to come, they would need some sort of crowd control. Again, retailers, global retail chains, that they need, libraries, local governments, libraries, museums, and those that we have installed before. So this is the end of my presentation. So what I'll do is I will stop my recording now, and we will go into the Q&A session. I do want to draw to you that we will have our webinar on our YouTube. You may want to subscribe to us on FootfallCam on the YouTube channel, because we do update our YouTube with videos from time to time with our new features, which you can then obviously use them to showcase to demo to your customers. Okay, thank you. So I'll stop share and I'll stop my recording now. So if anyone wants to